Tonight at 10, a new law mandates Wisconsin schools adopt a policy on appropriate communication between staff and students. We'll show you why one local school district is already prepared.
Thunderstorms that had a history of producing severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings have exited the WISC viewing area. When's the next chance for storms? I'm going to let you know during this newscast.
And system operators are proposing 2 transmission lines be run through a big part of southern Wisconsin. How local homeowners are pushing back. That's all coming up on News 3 now at 10. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. It has been quite the day in the weather department. Severe weather across parts of the viewing area, and our First Warn weather team has been covering tornado and thunderstorm warnings.
Our chief meteorologist Alex Harrington joins us now with what we saw and what's next.
Well, the good thing is right now there's nothing out there. All those thunderstorms have now moved well to the south and to the east over parts of Lake Michigan and northern Illinois, but that was not the case this afternoon when we had supercell thunderstorms. We had bowing segments. Those are damaging lines of damaging winds with embedded tornadoes moving across southern Wisconsin. Luckily, even though we had radar indicated tornadoes, no confirmed tornadoes, at least at this point in time. Although we move a little bit further to the north, we do have some areas where we've had some wind damage reported up towards the Dells. This likely will fill in more as we get more reports from this evening's severe weather that rolled across southern Wisconsin. What are you going to wake up to now tomorrow morning? Get ready for a little bit of patchy fog, and the day tomorrow, beautiful compared to today, with temperatures getting into the upper 70s. The latest on our next chance of rain, though, that's coming up.
All right, Alex, thank you. And you can track the forecast for yourself with our First Warn weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and the very latest radar. You can download it for free. It's in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather. New at 10, we have reported on several sexual misconduct cases involving students and educators within the past year. Now, new legislation is looking to put a stop to that.
One specific training this year focuses on a new law that requires every district in the state to enact policy and annual training regarding inappropriate conduct between faculty and students. Our Maya Tate is here with how the Verona Area School District has already put these requirements in place. Maya?
Yeah, Eric and Sarah, as a part of the state's efforts towards anti-grooming laws, Act 89 requires schools to solidify policy on appropriate methods of communication between students and staff. But this type of policy is something that staff at Verona say that they're proud to be ahead of the pack on.
We've actually had policies in place for a long time prior to the passing of Act 89.
School Board President Jennifer Murphy says Verona has had a preventive response to this topic.
We try to be a district that is proactive rather than reactive. We're trusted by families to ensure the safety and well-being of our students, so we are constantly looking at our systems and structures to ensure that we're doing everything possible to keep our students safe.
Act 89 has specific language about grooming and educator sexual misconduct, which just adds to the policies already in place in Verona.
We are very much in compliance with Act 89 and will submit the required pieces to DPI that validate the specific part of that state law.
Act 89 also highlights mandatory yearly training for districts at no cost from the Department of Public Instruction. This training focuses on identifying, preventing, and reporting grooming and other boundary violations. The Verona School Board already has policy that dictates that.
So staff truly understand what the expectations are for the safety of themselves and the well-being of our students. We've elevated some of the professional boundaries understandings of what that really means to ensure the well-being of our students.
This past winter, before Act 89 was passed, Verona staff participated in training through the Elephant Alliance, a specialized group that helps inform teachers about educator sexual misconduct.
To just really understand the ins and outs of that particular piece of protecting student well-being.
Another aspect of Act 89 revolves around timing between hearing of student staff misconduct and notifying guardians.
Anything that surfaces with any concerns about an incident with a student, families are notified immediately. There's no hesitation. Our job is to protect student well-being, and we will do the appropriate measures to do just that.
As Verona staff come back next week for training, Murphy says that they will continue to learn and hear about how to keep students safe and support them.
I would reiterate is just how proud I am that I work in a district that is trying to be as proactive as possible and not reactive, that we don't wait for state law to help inform what we do to ensure the safety and well-being of our students.
Verona isn't just focusing on in-school staff and coaches. This training was also given to people who are not direct employees of the district, but that work with students. While other districts statewide have also already enacted policies following these guidelines, time is ticking for those that haven't as the September 1st deadline quickly approaches.
Maya, thank you. In other news tonight, Dane County Sheriff deputies made 2 separate OWI arrests yesterday. One was a driver's 5th OWI, the other their 7th. In Springdale, a 49-year-old Sun Prairie man crashed his car near Messerschmitt Drive and County Highway G. He had reportedly left the area but was found in the woods nearby. He was evaluated at a local hospital, then arrested for his 5th OWI and felony bail jumping. Just before 10 p.m. that same day, a truck and trailer left the road and went into a ditch off of Highway 138 in Rutland. The 61-year-old McFarland man driving was arrested for his 7th OWI.
An Iowa woman is dead after a UTV rollover crash in Lafayette County. The sheriff's office says the victim is 23-year-old Chloe Schotz. The crash happened just after 8 p.m. yesterday, south of the town of Wayne. Schotz was airlifted by MedFlight to St. Mary's Hospital in Madison, where she died this morning. The Lafayette County Coroner's Office is helping the sheriff's office and the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources in the investigation. No other details have been released regarding the condition of the other people who were involved in that UTV crash. Right now, Wisconsinites are being asked for their feedback on a proposed 190-mile-long, 765-kilovolt transmission line. It cuts through multiple portions of the News 3 Now viewing area. This project would connect electric facilities up in Crawford County to facilities over in Walworth County before continuing to the state line. Its proposed path cuts through Richland, Sauk, Columbia, Dodge, Dane, Jefferson, and Rock counties. And within the past 2 weeks, residents in those areas received letters from the company behind the project, Mid-Continent Grid Solutions, informing them that their properties are on the proposed route, asking for their feedback by September 7th. Now, one of the impacted landowners tells us she feels the timeline is unfair.
This heavy push is a significant concern, especially with such short timelines. If they want truly Wisconsin buy-in, this has to be a real evaluation, adequate time, all of the groups to weigh in and provide documentation and feedback in order to do a full evaluation for what's right.
Now, the company is hosting 8 open houses seeking public feedback starting next Monday and then ending that Thursday. After that, the company will review feedback and identify preliminary routes to share at more open houses in the fall. Continuing coverage now, Fitchburg officials are testing new technology to replace flock security cameras. Just last week, police there took down all of the city's flock cameras.
They're citing concerns over surveillance and data governance. Our Bella Ferrick reports on how the department is testing alternatives.
Flock cameras are automated license plate readers that capture vehicle data like the make, model, and color of a car. It's the data that the cameras capture that's what's controversial, and that's why Fitchburg had them removed, because the city had no control over who accessed it. Alderperson Michael Ladusa makes those concerns clear.
Literally the number one problem I have with this is that we have no data governance over who accesses the data of Fitchburg and who can search it and who can look at it.
City officials are now in the process of looking for alternatives to flock cameras. We've learned that they will be testing products from different vendors for about 6 months before coming to a final decision and fully making the switch. Fitchburg Police Chief Andrew McCarthy says the technology that is chosen will have to go through a lengthy screening process, ensuring that the data is used appropriately and only law enforcement has access to it.
There's no doubt that the technology is a very valuable tool for us to do our jobs, for what the community expects of us, but there are some valid questions as to how that data is being treated, especially things that are outside of our control. What we're doing now is looking for other vendors that provide the same or very similar technology that we can vet is safeguarded in a manner that reflects what our community desires.
Fitchburg is one of many cities moving away from flock cameras. Here in Dane County, Verona city officials voted last year to get rid of theirs. Fewer cameras mean fewer tools for law enforcement to use to stop crime, but still, both police and city officials acknowledge whatever technology they choose, it should be safe, and privacy should be paramount.
That was Bella Ferrick reporting. The Fitchburg Police Department says they're open to answering questions from the public on this topic. Looking ahead tonight, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation wants your input on shaping plans for boosting accessibility to the state's transportation infrastructure. The department updates the ADA transition plan every year. Public input helps them set priorities for different projects. Those focus on solving accessibility shortcomings at the department's facilities and other transportation infrastructures like sidewalks, curb ramps, and pedestrian signals. You can head to this story on channel3000.com to find a draft of the plan and a link to submit your comments.
We'll get ready to gobble up some greens this September as Madison Vegan Fest returns to the city.
This annual event, running since 2011, celebrates sustainable living and plant-based food. The free festival will be held at Lunny Lake Farm County Park on September 26th. Dozens of vendors will be offering up both good eats and everything from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Event organizers say it's not just for vegans. Non-vegans are welcome to get a bite at the festival too.
U.S. Treasury yields are being pushed to record levels. Next at 10, we'll show you how it could affect you as a consumer.
And when I return, we're going to take a look back at Radar 3000 at those severe thunderstorms that rolled across southern Wisconsin, producing severe weather. And if we have any more thunderstorms in the forecast, that's coming up.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10. Moving forward.
Welcome back. Both the U.S. and Iran are sending new signals that an agreement to end the war or fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz appears to be far off.
Now, this is after the memorandum of understanding between them fully expired. Today, President Trump said on Truth Social, no talks or conversations with Iran are currently taking place, or are they scheduled. He also posted a map of the Strait of Hormuz labeled as a U.S. territory on social media. Meanwhile, Iran's top negotiator is reiterating a list of demands it says it wants the U.S. to meet in order for the strait to be fully reopened, and those include lifting the U.S. naval blockade on Iranian ports, releasing Iran's frozen assets, lifting Iranian oil sanctions, and ending all military threats and operations.
A global bond sell-off is pushing U.S. Treasury yields to levels not seen in nearly two decades. The 30-year Treasury yield hit 5.34% today. That's the highest level since 2007. Investors are selling bonds amid concerns about stubborn inflation, rising government deficits, and surging oil prices from the war with Iran. But what does that mean for you? Basically, higher yields can drive up borrowing costs for consumers, including mortgage rates, and put pressure on stocks.
Today, opening statements began in a trial that could reshape how social media platforms interact with children. 29 states filed suit 3 years ago, alleging that Meta designed its platforms to get young people addicted, harming the mental health of children as it boosted profits. California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey are representing the bipartisan coalition in federal court. Those states are collectively seeking as much as $1.4 trillion in damages.
What sets this case apart is that this is actually these states asking a federal judge to reach into the company and make changes, not just hit them with fines, but make fundamental changes.
Now, Meta denies the allegations, and a spokesperson says the AGs offer no proof that anyone was misled and are attempting to penalize Meta for industry-wide challenges like age verification. The trial is scheduled to last at least 6 weeks.
Turning to weather now, things have quieted down after storms for a good part of the afternoon and evening.
Alex joins us now with a look at what's ahead. Alex?
And what's ahead is right now in southern Wisconsin, quiet, as you just mentioned. That is good because that was not the case throughout the afternoon and the evening hours. I'm going to let this play through. I'm going to slow it down and explain a little bit what happened here. We had sunshine this morning that allowed the atmosphere to have more energy, and that allowed for those thunderstorms to pop up across parts of central Wisconsin and then roll through southern Wisconsin as supercells and then bowing segments. These are damaging wind segments with embedded circulations. These were all radar indicated tornado warnings that occurred throughout southern Wisconsin this afternoon as that line rolled to the south. No confirmed tornado touchdowns at this point in time, which is certainly good news. But not before leaving behind, though, wind damage across parts of central Wisconsin, up near the Hillsborough area, the Laval area. We likely are going to get more reports as we move through the next 24 hours as folks' damage and pictures are submitted to the National Weather Service. Futurecast, okay, things are quiet through the rest of the night tonight. Temperatures dipping down even into the comfortable 50s. How about that? Then back into the 70s tomorrow. We are looking out for the potential for a little bit of patchy fog, but I'll talk about that more in just a minute while we round out the chances for rain. Next chances on Friday with showers and some thunderstorms later Thursday night going on into Friday. The longer those rain showers and storms hold on into Friday, the cooler it will be, and that would hold down in the severe weather threat on Friday. A couple tenths of an inch of rain expected with that weather system on Friday. Enough just to settle the dust, maybe a little extra there. We'll take all those raindrops that we can get. And again, tomorrow morning, 8:30, that fog is burning off. But earlier in the morning, we could be looking at that fog locally dense in some areas, especially for areas east of Madison and the Wisconsin River Valley. Lows in the upper 50s to the lower 60s again tonight. A pretty nice day for Wednesday, and for August standards in the upper 70s. Humidity levels will be dropping. No thunderstorms are expected on Wednesday. No thunderstorms are expected on Thursday either. But as we head towards Friday, more thunderstorms are expected, or at least throughout the day, periods of showers and thunderstorms. And then we have a gorgeous weekend ahead in southern Wisconsin. Let's take this full screen here. I'll head over to the desk here in just a moment. So if we could take this nice and big. There we go. Again, once we get through Friday's rain, and again tonight's shower and storm activity is to the south, then we have a very pleasant weekend ahead for southern Wisconsin. And I can't stop but end on this picture here. The First Warn Weather Team, we look out for you when the weather is good and when it is bad here. This is in Iowa County. This is the 4th rainbow that has been taken in a photo over the Harrington Farm. So I like to think that somebody is looking over me while I'm trying to look out over you folks as well.
I know who it is. It's Grandma.
It's probably Grandma
Gorgeous
Harrington.
picture. Very cool.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing that.
You're very welcome.
What a night over in Milwaukee.
It's unbelievable. And you guys, I think, know me well enough to know that I don't just make Taylor Swift references, or maybe ever. But what happened tonight in Milwaukee, I mean, I didn't really have a choice, because the Brew Crew are feeling 22. I'll tell you why next on News 3 Now.
Woo-hoo.
And now, News 3 Now Sports, brought to you by TDS.
It's the test of a great team. You take 3 of 4 from the Dodgers, but do you let your foot off the gas? And tonight, the Brewers, well, they put the pedal to the metal against the Mariners, as you saw earlier tonight on television, Wisconsin. They kept Bernie busy out there on the slide, leading 3-0 in the 5th, and it's Christian Yelich coming back into his own, sending it sailing over the right center wall for a 3-run blast, and they were just getting started. They scored 5 in the 5th and did the same in the 6th. This time it's Jake Bauers bombing a 2-run blast to make it 11-0. But really, that was nothing, that 11 number, because in the 7th, Luis Lara joins the party with his first career MLB homer, kickstarting a 9-run inning for Milwaukee. The Brewers win, ready for this, 22-0. That ties a franchise record for runs in a game and matches the largest shutout in MLB history, at least dating back to 1888. What a night for the Brewers. And elsewhere on the diamond, after leading her Madison Nightmares to back-to-back Northwoods League softball titles, the Wisconsin Badger star and Verona native Hillary Blomberg won her 2nd straight Northwoods League Player of the Year award. This comes after taking the league's triple crown, leading the NWLS in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. Well, Luke Fickell was supposed to celebrate his 53rd birthday today by welcoming fans into Camp Randall for an open practice. But in a perfect illustration of his 3 years in Madison, it was rained out. Fick's seat couldn't get any hotter, and that's exactly how the head coach described his own job status entering 2026. He knows that if he is going to be the one to turn this program around, this is almost certainly his last chance. So something has to change, and Fickell says that something is depth and leadership. He says he feels those things are at an all-time high entering his 4th season, but in practice, it's hard to see, he says, how you're measuring up. Fickell says that comes out in the wash when you do the real thing.
I don't know, like, we can say what's missing. When the lights come on, that's when we got to figure it out. You know what I mean? We've always kind of hammered upon what's the leadership really going to be. To say there's something missing, I don't know what we have before we can figure out what we have that's missing. When the lights come on, that's when we find out. And that's what's, the most challenging thing about our jobs is, not assuming anything. I can tell you that there's a lot of guys, we know exactly what's going to happen when the lights come on. We've seen them, we've been here. There's a lot of guys we don't know. So we try to put it in as many situations as we possibly can, challenge them, find out what they're made of, and then we'll find out what we got when those lights come on.
Now, many Badger fans are probably sitting at home thinking the obvious answer is Colton Joseph. He's the X factor. Is the Badgers' new quarterback going to be a game changer or even stay healthy? And I say that last part because Luke Fickell has seen his QB get injured in each of his 3 seasons at UW. Well, for Colton Joseph's part, he's been doing everything he can to buck that trend. Over the offseason, the Old Dominion transfer reached out to former Badger quarterbacks that did have success in Madison and spent time studying the way that Russell Wilson operated in 2011.
One thing I picked up on that was his leadership. You know, he was a transfer that year, as his first year there. And I heard stories that he was up in the film room every day, you know, picking up the new offense, carrying around note cards, and that kind of just helped the young guys who were there look at that, and he was kind of a role model to them. And I think it was a great job of him and the rest of the captains of that team. It motivated me. I think the one thing we're sticking to this season is burning the boats, you know, giving everything we got. You know, we're not turning back. There's no plan B. You know, it's plan A or nothing. So we're coming in with a attacking mindset.
And you don't want to go anywhere because not only does Alex have a final check, we are celebrating a special anniversary here on News 3. Now stick with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10. Moving forward.
Now, News 3 Sports with Eric Frank.
What is this? Well, a tough situation tonight for Dick Bennett and his Badgers. They absolutely had to win.
Oh, that's him. Finally tonight
terrible.
we are
Look
celebrating.
at that shirt.
I know, look at that face,
Silver
the baby
tie.
face. It's an anniversary here at News 3 Now. Our Eric Franke is celebrating 29 years. 29 years in 3 days, right? From starting in 1997 as our weekend sports anchor. I think that was maybe one of your first. Oh my goodness, look at all of these faces. He was 1997 as the weekend sports anchor to weekday, then to sports director, and then primary 6 and 10 p.m. anchor 2005.
Oh my God, look! It's so nice to be young again.
Oh, you look so.
That was right after I graduated from high school. Andy Choi there.
It's just the highlights that you put in your hair. That's
I
the
don't
only
put
difference.
anything in my hair. Unless the graying of. I was thinking about my gray the other day. This is from my son Jordan. This is from my son Hunter.
Right.
They each gave me a little gray hair, but
it's a permanent
thank you
tattoo.
for watching us through the years.
Thank you for doing
I could have gotten
this.
you some really old video though.
Even
of course, I
older?
started here. I was only 14 years old, so
Right,
29 years later.
Exactly. So congratulations.
Thank you
and
very much. Yeah, next year's the big 30, so hopefully I can make it.
We'll give you more clips next year.
From way back. Hey, we were talking about the Stoughton tornado 21 years ago tonight.
Yeah. Yep.
And we have some video online, right?
Yes, we do. Channel3000.com. Well, we didn't have any confirmed tornadoes today. Eric, you remember this well.
Yeah.
You covered the Stoughton tornado that occurred on August 18th, 2005. On that day, we had 27 tornado touchdowns in the state of Wisconsin, most of them in central and southern Wisconsin. So check that story out on channel3000.com. Luckily, again, no tornadoes reported today. Radar 3000 is free, and we have 2 beautiful days ahead.
Great.
Thanks for watching, folks. Have a good night.